This is Janae with the Itch to Stitch. I love using a variety of fonts. How about you? In this video, I will demonstrate how to make a text design using multiple fonts with free software from Embrilliance. I already have Embrilliance Express running on my computer. The first thing I'm going to verify is under Preferences that I have my 5x7 hoop selected, the 130 by 180 millimeter hoop, so I know the design I pick will fit within my stitch limits. You've already seen a preview image of my project for today, so you know my phrase has 7 words. I will create 7 different lettering objects since I want to use 7 different fonts. And I will just create one object for each word. I love, click set and drag this out of the way. Do you get the idea? I'm going to pause here for a minute. Okay, to save time, I've entered in the 7 different items. They come in the standard font, and now I'm going to pick fonts. Now I have the advantage of having all of the Itch to Stitch fonts at my disposal. So I visited our Pinterest page so I could scroll through and see the full alphabet images for every font, which helped me in my selection process since I wanted a wide variety of fonts and looking for fonts that I particularly loved certain letters for. If you don't have as many fonts as all of this might be overwhelming. So you can refer to the full alphabet images that are saved in your zip file as well. I know that I want to incorporate some whimsical fonts, some elegant fonts, some girly fonts, some classy fonts. And so for the I picked Cutesy Joe. I'm going to use the 1-inch size. I'm going to just start my design off with that. For love, I wanted kind of a script loop-de-loop L, and there were 2 choices that I liked. Let's take a look at Twinkle Star. I think the L on this is very pretty, but I really wanted more of a script, so I ended up settling on Madison. And when I pull in the 1-inch, it's a little bit more delicate than that bold I for Cutesy Joe. So let's try the 1.5-inch size. And that looks like it will fill my space nicely. I'm going to zoom in because this font looks best when letters slightly overlap. So I'm going to decrease the space between my words so that L, O, V, E flow nicely together. All right, let's go back to zooming where I can see my whole hoop. Now my L is a little close, so I will just manually scoot that over. All right, for using, I wanted something sweet, yet maybe incorporate some serifs, and I really like Jelly Bean. And this works nice too because that G is a dangly letter, and in some fonts they hang down really low, and I don't want it to interfere with my next line of text. All right, for the A, I really didn't have a vision for this one. I'm just going to choose something straightforward like behind these hazel eyes. For variety, I'm looking for something kind of classy that maybe you would use in home decor that has a really pretty V. And so I picked a couple to look at here. Let's look at Inspiration. Oh, I wanted that V to be capital. No problem. I can just change it in my dialog box and hit set again. And that brings in the capital V for me. These might be a little scripty like that top one, so let's take a look at the other option I wanted, which was Love and Trust. Okay, I like this one. I like the swoop at the top of the V and the way the T extends. That's kind of balanced. So I'm going to nudge that V over to nestle above the A and the Y to tuck in under that T. Okay, for of, I just wanted something bold and not too crazy, so how about ham bone? And finally for fonts, actually since this has a lowercase f, I want my fonts to have a capital F as well. And I wanted something girly with a really pretty F, and I landed on Pigtails. And again, just like with Love, this is a pretty bold font, so I think I'm going to bump this up to the 1.5-inch size. Perfect. I will tighten those letters up a little bit, maybe move my F on its own just a tad. All right, let me grab this, I don't want it down that low. Grab my word, so my T and my Y don't overlap. And now I'm just gonna play with word placement, and this is where you can just kind of do things visually exactly the way you want. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure I'm in love with that A. Let's try something different. Maybe teen girls. There we go. That's good. It still has that same boldness, but adds a little bit of character. Once you have everything placed where you want, then we can work on color. I think for this design, I want the I, A, and of to all be the same color. Those are just my simple little words. And you saw the preview image before that I was using a chevron as my color palette. I want lime green for these. So when you select a lettering object, clicking the color tab allows you to change the thread color. So I'm going to scroll through here and find something approximately lime green. I will select the A, and you do that same process. Now I can, instead of having the thread selected, I can choose palette, and that will just show me the colors that are already on my screen. So I'm sure I'm selecting the exact same green for A and for of. All right, for love, I think I want that to be pink. Notice this comes in as two different colors. Looks like the capital L is a slightly different shade of blue. If I click the one color button, it will convert all the colors in that word to one color, and I think I want it to be pink. Using, let's make that a lighter blue, maybe some sort of aqua. So I'll have to go back to my thread list since I don't have a light aqua blue in my palette. Let's just choose this one. Variety, let's see, there was orange in my chevron, so let me grab an orange. And finally for fonts, there was a different color blue in my chevron, so I will pick a darker blue for that. All right, there we go. I will select all and make sure the whole design is centered in my hoop. And the last thing I want to do is stitch order. If you have a multi-needle, this may not matter too much for you with thread changes, but I like to minimize my thread changes. So I want my design to stitch love using variety fonts, and then go back and add those little green words last. So I will just simply drag and drop them down, and I'm going to have them stitch in backwards order, I think. And just so that has the path of my hoop. So now if we look at the order over here, it'll do love using variety fonts, and now all my greens are clustered, and I'll just work my way back up of A, I. All right, I just need to save it and head to my embroidery machine. Oh boy, can't wait to see how creative you get. Thanks for watching. Please check out our other videos for more helpful tips.